Everybody, we're going to do this a little differently today. We do have a mic for questions being asked, so feel free to raise your hand and we will pass out the mic. So go ahead.
Coach, the last 3 games defensively, holding the opponent to under 40%. I was talking to Coach Conroy earlier this week, and he talked about how you guys played 5-on-5 in an effort to improve defensively in practice. Is it that simple? What's improved in this defensive turnaround?
I mean, I think that when you have a new team, you need like film, and you need, I don't know what word you need like evidence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To show guys where the holes are, where they're not. And then, yeah, we had some really, really physical practices, for sure, which, when you don't play as well as you like, you do that. I've done it every year, whether it's, closeouts with bricks or weighted vests or whatever. I mean, we just, we called, quite frankly, we called a bunch of NBA teams too, and just asked them for different defensive drills. And I thought that helped us because they were just completely new and different than what our guys had seen over the 8 weeks in the summer and then the 2 months. And that really helped us. All the coaches reached out, I reached out, and some teams sent us some film of some of the stuff that they've done in practice. And I think we're still going to do what we were doing, but we just needed to put them in some different scenarios. And I thought it really helped us. We did a lot of 2-on-2 pick and roll defensively live, a lot. And we've continued with that probably for about 14 days now, maybe 12 days. And I do think that's helped us a lot.
Much just to go off that, how did you guys get the idea to, reach out? Where were you at that point that you realized, okay, we need to shake things up, we need to do something a little bit different? How did you get the idea just to make those?
Yeah, I just felt like, with every team, you kind of got to read the room, and to go back out on the practice floor and do exactly what we were doing. I didn't know if our audience was, understood. And so it was just, I think for coaches, players, and everybody, in any line of work, you want to walk into your office or you want to walk into the building and have something, a little bit of a surprise in the monotony. If you work, 9 to 5 and you go Monday through Friday, by Wednesday or Thursday, if you're doing the same thing, you're kind of hoping something happens that can, and we want a little bit of anticipation on what's coming. And we've always tried to change stuff up, but I was out of my own ideas. And I don't know I think if we would have kept doing what we were doing, we might have, I hope that we're getting better. I think it's quite obvious that, we played 3 straight games of really good basketball. It's hard to beat Oregon where we are right now, being in year 1 and guys not. We're still figuring out who we are. There was still some things offensively and defensively that we can clean up, and that's our job to point it out. But I am really happy with the way we've defended, especially in the first half of both of the last 2 games. Not really happy with the second half defense, but it's also hard. It's human nature when you're playing with a 25-point lead to, you're going to have a little bit of slippage, and we did.
Coach, the first half of this game looked almost identical to the first half of the Washington game. Great fire on offense, a lot of speed, really good defense. You've talked a little bit about what you did defensively, but it looks like it's almost a whole new team coming out the last few games. Can you tell us what your thought is?
Yeah, I think that, for whatever reason, this team, even in the games that we didn't really play good, like after the first, timeout, like the first 4 minutes of every game, it's the first team I've ever had in all the years where almost every game we haven't fallen behind at all, knock on wood. Because there's oftentimes you play 10 games, in 2 games you get down 8-4, and we haven't really done that. And then I think that Wes, although Wes didn't play great tonight, Wes's athleticism and Wes's ability to play off the bounce and create his own shot has really helped our team. And then defensively, he's got physicality and he's got really good anticipation. And I think that our overall team speed has improved as his minutes have increased. And again, he did not, play great tonight, but he's a different dimension for us, and he's still a young, a freshman developing a lot of our third and fourth options. So he's still trying to figure things out, but I do think he changes us from an athleticism standpoint.
Neither coach. What hurdles did you have to overcome for today's much-needed victory?
Well, I think that defending the three was the theme, and we were just trying to eliminate their three ball attempts. They're a really well coached team. They really space the floor. They'll probably be an NCAA tournament team, I would assume. They're picked to win their league, I think, and we scheduled them with that thought process. There's not many teams that have in non-conference that's their third Big Ten game, and they played Northwestern down to basically a possession. And Northwestern's a really good team. They're well coached, and then if you watch the Wisconsin game, those are two hard places to play, and the Wisconsin game was within single digits as well. So I thought our preparation was really good, especially it's finals with us right now, and it's not an easy thing at all. It's not an easy thing anywhere. And then with our academic standards here, our guys are really they've really worked this last week and a half to prepare for finals and prepare for papers. And sometimes we cut practice back a little bit the last 2 days just because of that. And then we have guys take finals tomorrow. It's kind of all over the map at 2, at 11. We don't even know if we have a window really to do anything, but they've done a really good job on their own of preparing. Because it is a little bit, that's a little bit of the concern coming into tonight was, the mental fatigue of getting the academic stuff done. And they've done a great job, and so has our academic support staff getting guys ready and helping them with study hall and stuff.
Hi, Coach. Claude had 15 second half points. He's done that multiple times this season. How does his ability set the mood going out of halftime?
Who is that?
Claude?
Des, yeah. We're putting the ball in his hands. We rely on his one-on-one ability. We rely on his ability to kind of break people down and turn the game into an advantage, whether it's 4-on-5 or 3-on-5. He draws extra attention in pick and roll, and he's super aggressive, and he's a high free throw attempt player. So all those reasons we want him to come out of games aggressive. It helps us get to the foul line earlier, get bonus situations. And I think he keeps getting better as a point guard too. I mean, you look at, tonight's, efficiency, and then you look at the Washington efficiency, and it's through the roof. I mean, he's hardly missing a shot in the last 2 games, and he's not forcing things. And I mean, he takes 8 shots tonight and has 19 points, and I think the other night he took 6 shots and had 20 points. So he's become a really, really hard player to defend.
Once I know you like to let guards, ball handlers play with a lot of freedom offensively, but
Say that again, so that's a good recruiting piece.
In general, it looked like tonight, you guys were running a little bit more sets offensively in the half court, especially in that first half, than you have previously, a lot of DHOs and that sort of thing. Was that an emphasis for you? Has there been any changes to your offensive philosophy the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, so we have 2 different statistical things that we go off. One of the companies gives us a report every 5 games. The other one does after every game. And surprisingly, we're way more effective in half-court offense than we are in transition. Again, every team's different. That's completely different than all the other teams I've had. We're turning it over a little bit too much in transition. We don't take the right shots sometimes in transition. We're still trying to feel our way out spacing-wise in transition. But half-court offense, we've been really good across the board, even earlier when we kind of weren't playing that great and we looked discombobulated on both sides of the ball. We did want more touches tonight from different people, and we felt like they'll as a play wore on and we got the ball changed sides that it would help us score and get easier looks.
Coach, after the Oregon game, you mentioned I don't know how many Big Ten games we're going to win Was that a calculated remark, or was that honestly how you felt in the moment? And then, just as another quick thing, any injury updates with Rashawn and Terrence?
I hope, Connor, that everything that I do is calculated.
Okay.
When I sit before you guys, I hope I've thought about them. I really do. You know, like who is this for? Number one, it's for my own players, and it's for our staff, and it's for our inner circle family. It's for everyone involved in the athletic department, and then the last thing it's for is probably what you guys are looking for. And so I do think there's got to be a plan when you come up here. I won't always have a plan because sometimes emotions, you know, you walk in here and it doesn't go like you want. But yeah, I mean, I made that comment hoping that they would hear that going into a road game because we haven't played on the road, and that was concerning that that was our first road game after losing a heartbreaking game. And look, we know, you know, Oregon beat us, but we also beat ourselves. So we knew that closing games in a big game like that, you know, trying to, you know, maybe I could have gotten up here and said, hey, we played great against the 12th ranked team, but I didn't want to go that route. It was going to probably go one of two ways. Could have backfired too, and we could have lacked confidence.
This will be our last question.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about two players. What's your thoughts about how Rashawn has played in the last two games?
Phenomenal. Yeah, I was, you know, tonight, you know, in the second half, he missed 2 layups, and you know, at Bowling Green, that was when we recruited him. That was our biggest concern, was him missing shots around the rim, and then we go up to Seattle, and he doesn't miss anything around the rim. First half tonight, he doesn't miss anything, and then the second half, he missed some shots. He's going to make some of those threes too. In practice, I think he's our most underrated 3-point shooter, and he's a guy that's worked as hard as anybody on his off time to get shots up from the perimeter. So I think that will add something to us at some point, I hope. But he's played phenomenal. So he gives us energy and loose ball getting, and he range rebounds outside of his area. Did someone ask about the injuries?
Rashawn and Terrence.
Rashawn, I think, is just a cramp. T-Will, that thing's broke. So he's had surgery, and he's out for the foreseeable future, for sure. And then Harry is I haven't gotten the update, but he thought his hamstring could be a concern.
T-Will out for the season, or?
I don't think we can determine that quite yet, but he's not going to play in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Excuse me. The other player I wanted to ask you about was Kevin Patton. He came in, made a shot, missed a shot. You took him out pretty quickly, and it looked like you were trying to give him a message, and I wonder what your thinking was.
Yeah, I mean, we're not a team that likes to take threes without anyone else touching the ball. And he took one, made it, and he had just checked in. And then the second one, you know, we're trying to move the ball, and he's a young developing player, and he's got unbelievable potential, but that's not what we needed at that time. Shot selection is really important. I look at everyone's minutes every time they are in practice and in a game, and it's an evaluation. And if you're not in the rotation consistently, then when you get your minutes, both in practice and in a game, it's about trying to earn, you know, your minutes. And so that shot selection, regardless of who it would have been, if it would have been Ray Allen, you know, I don't know if that would have been the shot that we would have wanted at that particular time. So, you know, we gave other people an opportunity. I thought Bryce Pope did a great job in his minutes. He's done a great job in practice. And, you know, coming into the game, we wanted to look at Clark and we wanted to look at Bryce. Some of the younger guys have had some opportunities, and Bryce and Clark have watched and been patient. And so I wanted to see those guys. And I thought Clark had, I don't know, 4 or 5 assists tonight in limited minutes, and Pope did a really good job. So you got to play your minutes when they're in there.
All right, thank you, everybody.